total Chinese-style censorship, communist Chinese-style censorship to the unelected corporate board. And guess who's involved? The Communist government of China. So there is a major global meltdown power grab going on right now. And America is now reaching the event horizon, the point of no return. We're either going to slow this down and start turning it around, or we're going to go down fast. You're going to see more globalist power grabbing in the next few years than you've seen in your whole life. You know, I've been saying that the last few years, and suddenly you're seeing it. Internet power grabs, energy power grabs, sovereignty being imploded, signing global treaties in secret, orders. They're now announcing that they won't release any documents from the White House on any subject. Totally illegal. They're just going to violate the Open Records Act. FEMA to deny funds to warming deniers. Think about what an Orwellian term that is. States who oppose, whose governors refuse to acknowledge climate change will not get preparedness aid. You either accept global government, global carbon taxes, that's Philly.com, or you will not get your state money that was taken sent back to you. This is just the announcement today. 2 weeks ago, Obama came out, and he said it again last week. He's preparing executive action on tax increases. He pledged not to raise taxes on anybody making less than $250,000. He raised it on people that are blue collar at the poverty line. And they've raised a bunch of other taxes. And now he's talking about executive action. Presidents don't have taxing authority. That comes out of Congress. I know you know that, but notice executive ammo bans. They're not backing down on that. There's an article on Infowars.com on that subject. So we've now reached the tipping point on every front. I'm going to ask the callers, what do we do? Do we support Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, or are we purists and say, oh, they're obviously not 100% perfect. They're not Jesus Christ, so we're not going to support them. And do you agree with me that we're at this key juncture, this crossroads, this event horizon? And what's the next big shoe to drop? They're power grabbing every day now. More's happening in a week than used to happen in a year. I mean, it's hyperdrive right now. I cringe every morning when I get up at 6 a.m. to see what new nightmare has occurred while I was sleeping. I've just got stacks of tyranny here in front of me. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. Let's take one phone call before we go to break. John in Idaho, what do you think about Ted Cruz and his announcement running for president, plans to repeal Obamacare, abolish the IRS?
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
I'm all right, brother. Go ahead.
First, let me say, I was 19 when I started listening to you. I'm 26 now. And I do feel like we are at the event horizon, like you said. But that being said, I feel like Ted Cruz, it doesn't really matter. Congress is a fiat system. And the answer is a grassroots awakening. It has to start with the people first, not by someone who is in office.
I agree with you that the power is with the people, but someone like a Rand Paul or a Ted Cruz that can give a 27-hour, almost record filibuster, and what he stands for, getting rid of the IRS, abolishing the Federal Reserve, repealing Obamacare. I mean, he's being demonized by the power structure because they're scared of him. Same thing with Rand Paul. I just think that just because he represents, at least on the surface, our ideas, we need to support him and Rand Paul. I like Rand Paul better. I think Ted Cruz is probably slicker, probably a little bit smarter, and Rand Paul's super smart. And he's got a Spanish surname, which is great. I mean, I'd love to have Latin America go constitutionalist. Then there'd be a better country than this. I can move down there. I mean, I just want freedom. But I hear what you're saying. We all need to stop complying with tyranny and get in the system's face and vote with our dollars to support local, truly sustainable agriculture and industry and restore the republic that way. The McDonald's model of bringing McDonald's and Coca-Cola down, which is starting to happen in Monsanto, If we can bring them down, we can bring down the entire globalist order. They're not invincible. Thank you so much. By the way, popular weed killer has now been deemed probable carcinogen. It's now official. It's by hook or by crook. In an interview, he said, "I'll take the crook." Wow. That's what he's doing. Democrats have not given up on ammo ban. New York Democrat plans to lean on new ATF boss. That's Infowars.com. Big Bang Theory could be debunked by Large Hadron Collider. And some new tests they're doing on rainbow gravity. And, of course, a lot of these experiments, they admit, could blow the planet up or implode it. But, whatever. NATO chief says Russia's still sending arms to Ukraine, UPI, like they caught Russia in something. NATO's sending in armored brigades. Putin admits he's got troops in Ukraine now, but they keep acting like Russia's hiding it. And I'm not defending Russia. It's just these are tricks they play to manipulate the public. Like I saw John McCain on CNN Sunday talking about Obama throwing temper tantrums as if he's against Obama in policy. It's all a ruse. And saying Iran and ISIS must be taken down in the region, implying Iran was behind ISIS, playing on the idiot viewers of CNN. Chinese economy dangles on a cliff. Key article. Organic dairy farming struggles to keep up with demand. Very positive article out of the Star Tribune showing how the organic movement is just taking over and is so lucrative. And so that means other people will get into it. It will take over the industry. This is how easy it is to defeat the globalists, is having a revolution of ideas, folks. They always brand revolution as violent so that you'll only think violence is the way to go. Because, again, a peaceful revolution just takes over and you never know what happened. Ruins found in a remote Argentinian jungle, maybe secret Nazi hideout. The Guardian, really interesting article. We're going to cover that right out of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's just some of what's coming up today, but let's go to your calls. James in Utah, you're on the air. What do you think about the presidential race? We're talking Ted Cruz. Go ahead.
Well, I got my opinion on Ted and Rand, but first I just want to say, Here in Utah, I think one of the reasons why it's the hot zone is because everybody knows their neighbor. I know the next 40 people down the street, and, there are a lot of preppers here. A lot of Mormon people like to have food storage and weapons. And, yesterday you said that you think the Mormons have infiltrated everything. I just want to get your opinion on that. But I think Ted Cruz, we need to back somebody so it's not Bush going up against Hillary, but I think Rand might be a better choice, but it's still going to be the same, business as usual, even if we do get them in.
Well, sure, they're not going to be able to get everything done because they have both said they would act as constitutionalists, as Ron Paul said he would if he got elected, so he can't just dictatorially do whatever they want. But with a bully pulpit truly going after Obamacare that's 70-something% unpopular and unconstitutional, and going after the IRS that's totally unconstitutional and unpopular, we could really reform things and have a boom. If any country could reverse the globalists, it's America. That's why they're focusing their takeover here. I appreciate your call. When I said Mormons have infiltrated everything, I said the liberty movement's infiltrated everything. And I'm not weighing in on people that love Mormons or hate Mormons or whatever. I'll just say I have a lot of Mormons that are listeners, and the Mormons I know seem to be pretty well informed about the New World Order takeover plan. And so I was saying the globalists have a big problem that the military is super awake to what's happening. The Mormons have made a public point of putting their people in the military, the FBI, you name it. And so it's a real problem for the power structure. Now you can say, well, but look at Harry Reid and look at, these other top Mormons that are so evil. Well, you could just say those are globalist infiltrators of the Mormons. Regardless, I've said the Mormons, if they wanted to really, do something, should excommunicate people like Harry Reid. An abortion-loving, anti-gun piece of trash. Harry Reid is a devil. And that was the point I was making on that front. But we were getting into feds preparing to invade Texas, list state as hostile. And then the media is like, well, we always do drills. Yes, drills to take over the states. And we were saying, why do they target Texas and Utah in the West? And then San Diego and Orange County. It's basically saying anything libertarian or conservative is the enemy. And so that's where I was going with that, how the U.S. military would crush a Tea Party rebellion ties into all of this. So the government, the illegitimate government, is gearing up, but they've got a problem. People that love liberty, I don't care if they're a Baptist, an atheist, a Mormon, black, white, Hispanic. There's a huge uprising in Brazil that's libertarian. I mean, people are sick of it. They know big government serves the special interest.
We're